Yo, yo, yo! What up, people? It is Mundo Charlie. Greetings, my friend. Much gratitude that you are here, brother. I hope you have a great workout while listening to tonight's show because we are going to talk about the sabers that you can make from da, 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 hardware stores. And I've got just a saber to talk about it. Now, you can get saber stuff anywhere, right? I mean, you've got all kinds of companies. And I apologize, people. I'm going to get out of the picture here for just a second. But, you know, PVC pipe, right, is one way you can make a lightsaber. You can get plumbing pipe and make a saber. You can get all kinds of things from hardware stores and make a saber. Whether you want it shelf queen, whether you want it static, whether you want sound and everything else into it. Your imagination and the sky is the limit, right? Nothing a little bit of paint and clear coat and bondo and all kinds of good shit that you can get, right? It's up to you, people. I mean, it's your imagination on what you feel like you can accomplish with stuff from the hardware store. I myself have looked at all kinds of things from the hardware store. I've spent probably a lot of hours just looking at every little thing going, hmm, ooh, now that would be cool on a saber. Ooh, dude. And really and honestly, I think it's cool, dude. I think it's really cool. And I'm a little early, guys, so I might see if some people are coming in a little bit or not, because I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, right, Charlie? I got the beer in my hand. I got the saber stuff right here, and I think I'm just getting ahead of myself because hardly anybody's come in just yet. But um, we'll see what happens. Let the people trickle in here. But yeah, that's tonight's topic, man. And we'll see. I got my iron on tonight, so we might see if we can make a little some kind of little progress with the saber tonight. Don't know if I'm going to or not. Even if it's just a small amount of progress, that'd be better than no progress, right? So I've got the saber out right here. I've got the chassis right here. And I haven't really started sanding the chassis just yet because remember what we did work on was the button stuff right up in here in this little part right here. And and people, I wanna apologize to you because this whole week I had gotten a new cam and I was testing it out. And I tested it out on my laptop, but unfortunately my laptop is kind of screwy. So it's very slow, and even though I've done everything I can to speed it up and increase, the RAM and everything into it, it's still pretty slow for what I need it to do. And I try to coincide the webcam with my phone because this is how I'm doing the show right now, right? Um, the uh, the webcam from my phone is how I'm doing the show. And I'm going to bring it down here just a tiny bit right here with me, right? So you can see the background here of some of the sabers. So and you can see Darth Plagueis and wait a minute, sorry. That is Darth Malgus and Darth Vader. Sorry. My apologies. I almost said it wrong. um, so if you look right here, I got a brand new webcam and it's not working. Oh, okay, cool, man. Yeah. Like I said, I had to take it off the laptop because the laptop there was such a big delay on it that whatever you hear me saying right now, about a minute and 30, well, probably about 30 to 40 seconds later, you'd hear it. And I don't want that on the show. I want it to be nice and smooth how what you're hearing me in real time. Um, yeah, Darth Malgus, man. He's right up there, and it's what's really cool. Let me pull him down. Hold on, just so you can get a better look, Charlie. Um, he's a statue, so uh, Dave, one of my neighbors that's right across. Hey, and then uh, Dave, one of my neighbors that was right across the street from me. I mean, just opposite side, house over and everything, gave me this beautiful statue of Darth Malgus, man, and I have it up here for display for everybody to see. And it's just a wonderful piece, man. Yeah, I know, right, Charlie? I mean, he is such a badass neighbor, man. He's also printing me a a Death Star lamp, right? He's printing me out a Death Star lamp, and he's gonna print me out a few other things later on, and he's gonna look into a few other things to print out some stuff for me, and hopefully in the future he will print me some blasters that I can work on as well. And I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm gonna put Darth Malgus up back up here, and right along with my the Stein. And this is the so in case you guys have missed it, I'm gonna recap it. And my brother-in-law, my wife's brother, right, got me the Stein, the Darth Vader Stein, and it is just freaking gorgeous, man. I mean, look at that detail on there. Yeah, it's a little dusty. I haven't dusted it, but because it's in the garage. But man, just it's just gorgeous, gorgeous, and it Fleet Fleet Stein collection, and this is the Bradford Exchange. So I'm sure he paid a pretty penny for this thing, man. I mean, it is just gorgeous looking. Got the paperwork inside there that you can see in there. I tell you what, I came really close one night to pouring some beer in here and like drinking from here. I'm like, ah. And then of course my conscience got to me and said, nope, nope, Eddie, don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. So yeah, yep. I can't do my brother ugly like that either. So it's like, yeah, damn. Meant for beer, but not drinking. And I'm like, yeah, that would be so epic, right? No, you know what we need? We need a Star Wars beer, is what we need. That's what we need. Look, I even got my Yoda beer can holder, right? Yes, drink or drink not. There is no try. I gotta adhere to Yoda's advice, man. His teachings. Got to listen to Yoda. I do. All right, man. So let's get into some of the discussion here. Now that NN is in, Charlie's cracking up in the background over here. Yeah, I try, man. I try. I may not be that damn funny, dude, but yeah, at least if I can make a joke or two here and everybody laughs, yeah, one or two jokes, I'm good, right? Get the audience participation in the jokes. So, PVC pipe, anybody can do it. I mean, it's just a matter of how you want to design it. And think think there's I forgot the name of the guy, but he's from the Philippines. And I don't know if you've seen his videos or not. I forgot what he something Chan. I think it's Chan something, but he made a lot of sabers out of PVC pipe, and he did such an awesome job too. I mean, they look a thousand times better than this one, man. He made some wonderful stuff, dude. And I'm gonna have to go back and look at for some of those videos and find them because the way he did these sabers were just like super badass. And it would just been more expensive for me to get one from him and have it shipped here than just to make than to have it made myself and everything like that, right? Um, and you can always look on YouTube and find videos to do stuff yourself as well. I mean, there's so much content out there that you can do anything you want. Now, in going to hardware stores, I find that even crystal chambers can look freaking amazing, and a lot of the stuff that you get for these home builds, hardware builds, excuse me, is in the plumbing section, right? So you got the plumbing pipe, you got faucet fixture stuff, you've got faucet parts that really look like they're part of a crystal chamber and everything so forth. I mean, the hardware store's like a freaking playground because guess what? That's what Lucas did. I mean, Lucasfilm went to these hardware stores and built shit out of that stuff. They took they took stuff from they took stuff not only from the hardware store, but they also took stuff from you know what is it? Oh gosh, my God. Puzzles. They did from what kits, right? Those kits that you kits for airplanes, cars, and everything like that. They kit bashed all of that stuff, right? So they kit bashed all of that stuff, and you can literally take things like that and not and just do all kinds of designs to help you get the look that you're going for into a hardware build. And whether you want sound or not, like I said, is up to you, right? So, the sky's the limit on those things. I mean, and even Rob Petkow goes and he shows you all kinds of stuff that you can get from Home Depot in terms of using for crystal chambers and chassis parts and so forth. Um, and he does a really good. There's a few great videos that he does outlining some of the parts that he uses for some of this stuff. And he goes and he uses like the plumbing pipe, and the plumbing pipe he'll show you that you can utilize pieces from the custom saber shop to make just a cheap saber, right? A cheap saber that you can use and do it that way. And I love that fact that you can utilize pieces like that to make an awesome build. Um, and so, guys, what I'm going to do is while I'm talking to you as well, I'm going to be working on the saber just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to undo the chassis here off the emitter. And so while I'm talking to you guys about tonight's topic, I'm going to be working on this and I'll be showing you. So you guys can come along for the ride with me the whole, while I'm working on this. And let's see here. What did I do? Oh, there it is. Okay. So let's get let's get physical. Physical. Oh man. I kind of missed Olivia Newton-John stuff right about now. She was something else, right? That would have been funny uh to have Olivia Newton-John's song on a lightsaber thing. That would have been funny. I think that would have been hilarious. Okay, so and we all know that Rich Sangelo is the one that created this chassis for me, and I will forever be grateful and I an admirer of his work. So I love it. I've got two or three chassis from him, and I'll tell you, I plan on getting more, and I plan getting a couple of chassis from Cinzy too. So if you guys have seen some of Cinzy's work, woo boy, he's got some pretty badass chassis on his sabers too. So check this sexy. Look at that. Look at that sexy crystal chamber right there, man. Look at that. I tell you, Rich just I'm like loving it, right? And it doesn't even now. I tell you, it looks like a proper crystal chamber. It really does, right? It's got the ribs, got the LEDs down in there, right? Got the little like wires going on there. An actual crystal, right? Quartz crystal right in there. Um, man, I tell you, it's just super badass. Um, and I'm gonna be all over the place today. I tell you, my brain is going 100 miles an hour with all kinds of things, guys. So if I start getting stupid, tell me, hey, Mundo, let's go. Like Mundo, come on, get with the program, dude. Get with the program, man. We're building sabers here, and we're talking sabers. Yes, we are. Gotta have fun. You gotta have fun though, right? You gotta have fun in what you're doing. If you're not having fun, don't do it. Don't do it. If you're not having fun, you gotta have the passion, you gotta have the fun, you gotta have the drive to make things work. Speaking of, so yeah, man, let's get into it. I'm gonna take off the. Hmm, looks like I'm running low on this stuff. Water soluble flux. Running low on flux. All right. So in this build, of course, it's the memory build, right? And I've spent a little bit of time this afternoon because on the threads, and I know y'all probably can't see it right there, but um, on the threads there was a lot of dark stuff in here, and you know what? I went in here and I had to go in with a pick and still kind of move things and get things out and just it was a big pain. I mean, I could still see it. I mean, it's kind of hard for you guys to see it just simply how the camera is and everything, right? But note that if you've got stuff in these threads, get you a toothbrush, right? Get you a toothbrush just like this, a dirty toothbrush, and make sure. I mean, one that you're not using and it's pretty clean. Get it, and even Rob Petkow tells you guys, clean those threads out really good because what you if you don't do that and you have stuff in these crevices of the threads, what's going to happen is you're going to cross thread something and you're going to ruin your whole thing. I mean, you're going to ruin your whole saber just because of all of that stuff. You don't want to do that. So make sure that your threads they stay pretty clean. They stay pretty lubed up so that that way nothing squeaks or whatever. Because I'm gonna show you, and this is probably gonna bite because when I put this on, you're gonna hear the squeaks. Okay, see, there's some resistance right there, which means there's something in the threads right here that's actually. Oh well, there we go. That's the reason. So hold on, let me back this off. You see, you gotta pay attention. I wasn't even paying attention to that because of. So I don't know. It's fairly quiet now, right? As I'm putting the emitter back onto part of the body here, and now it's closed off completely. So you barely hear anything like that, and that's good. That's a good sign because when you hear that, you're not hearing any, squeaks or anything like that. That means that your threads are clean, clear, and debris free, and that's what you want. You don't want to have anything in those threads so that it if you do have something in those threads uh, and the toothbrush can't get it out, okay, if your toothbrush can't get it out, then try kind of going gently with something like this, right? You've got that little pick right there. It's not gonna get there. We go. Well, you get that pick or even one like this, right? And you get in there, but you do it gently because you don't want to mess up your threads at all. You don't want want to scrape anything too hard where it's not going to adhere to the thread and everything like that. So make sure that you do it, gentle enough that you can get the debris out and clean it well. After you clean it, take you a little cloth, terry cloth, or maybe like the kind of cloth that you use to clean your guns and with and stuff like that, and go in there and gently get in there and clean it up, and then put your lube, your oil back in there, the little packets that the custom saber shop sells, or just any kind of oil that will not you don't want to use W240, WD-40. Really, you don't want to use that. You really want to use a high quality oil that will stay in adhesion very well and keep it, pretty thin and so forth. So, and also because if you put too much oil and you don't take the excess off, that grease that's in there is eventually what's going to happen is that the dust is going to build up in there. Every time you take it off and you got dust flying around, it's going to adhere to that grease. And then later on, you're going to have problems. It's going to start getting a little bit harder to put this on. And then maybe even eventually you're going to cross thread and screw up your build. So you don't want to do that, man. Just get a light coat, make sure it's all the threads are nice and clean and all that good stuff. Same goes for hardware stuff as well, right? Now the hardware stuff, if it's not threaded, you don't have to worry about it. Just like the PVC pipe, right? The PVC pipe, I'm gonna put this down for a second, guys, and I'm gonna grab the PVC pipe. Now the PVC pipe stuff, you really don't have to worry because I hadn't even drilled that up many holes yet and stuff. But really, if you've got a decent chassis that goes in here, and I have, okay, what did I do with? Yeah, there it is. Okay, so I had a chassis that had this is the basically speaker holder for an Electrum Sabercraft deal, which broke off. Right, the speaker pod broke off, and they sent me a new one, so I have the new one on the whole assembly that I have for the Evo Flex. But I'm gonna redo the Evo Flex later on too. So, but I wanted instead of just cutting instead of throwing this away, I wanted to see if I could utilize this into the hardware build, right? And I can stick it right in there, just like that. And depending on the chassis that I get for this, right, it should, there we go. Can you hear it? I can't. It ain't moving. It's in there, but it ain't moving. See that? So once I get a speaker in there, I don't know how it'll fit after that, but we'll see what happens when I eventually when I get a chassis for this thing and put it in, wire it all in. I mean, look how hollow that is in there, man. Right? Now, I took the top off right here. I mean, it's a very simple build, and I still have, I don't think I, or did I? Did I glue this? I don't think I did. Let me see. Nope. I just have some of that painter's tape on here to hold it tighter, you know. But eventually, yeah, eventually I need to take it off and just glue it onto here, right? But until then, it's just gonna stay like that. And yeah, see, I didn't even put a clear coat on here just yet to keep it so the paint's kind of coming off with my sweaty hands. I'm gonna have to go buy some clear coat pretty soon and seal this so that I don't get all of that paint on my hand, right? And and then we go. Let's see. You gotta get it straight, man, because you don't get it straight. Shit. Okay. So anyhow, and then I've tested a blade in here, and it's not a bad thing. I'll get this one that I've already taken apart. My blade I took apart because the LEDs weren't good, and I've cut out some of the LEDs, so now I'm gonna rewire it and see how it goes. It's gonna be a even shorter blade, so I'll have to cut it down. It was a 28-inch blade, so what I may end up having to do is cut another inch or two off of it, just depending on how I want things. But if I do like the recess blade or something like that, it may work out. But going in here and then so there you go. I mean, of course, that's the way it's gonna look later on. I mean, not too bad for a hardware store build, right? Especially if it's gonna have sound. And the painting scheme, I mean, I just put it together. I was just screwing around and saying, look, do these two colors look good? And it looked all right to me. So, you know, what can you say? Not a bad little deal. And the blade depth in here actually is not bad. I mean, it's actually pretty damn good because excuse me, the blade depth is right about here. That's how much blade goes all the way in here. But wow, that much blade depth. I don't know, man. That's pretty impressive. That's almost about right here where that blade stops. Right up in this lip right here. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a cool little build, man. A cool little hardware build, right? Cheap too. PVC is still cheap. So you buy, let's say you get the LEDs online, you pay $30 for them. You get a chassis for $10 to see if it'll fit. If you can get it, maybe smaller. Get a good chassis that's pretty small that will carry the battery and everything in here, and probably get the CC pixels that'll go up in here to the emitter, and you're rocking, man. You're rocking. So you'll have a good little build right here, and probably what under $100, man. Under $100 for the PVC pipe, you know, saber. That's if you're in a pinch and a bind and you really can't get, you know, you really want the saber that bad, and NeoPixel at that, then that's your best option to go right there. Now, if you got the money, yeah, go ahead and buy one. And like I said, from that one from the Philippines, Chan, I believe his last name was Chan. I think he produced some pretty badass hilts, man, and they were reasonably priced. But like I said, if you ordered from here, yeah, it was going to cost you a little bit, a pretty penny, It's gonna cost you a pretty penny just simply from shipping from over that way and getting here. So, uh, but kudos to him, dude, because he did a wonderful, wonderful job. And I admire him when when I first started researching the lightsabers and stuff, he came up pretty often, and it was just mind-boggling to see what he did with PVC pipe. I mean, just the designs alone were pretty cool. He did he did a Qui-Gon, he did a Luke Skywalker, he did a few others, and it was very interesting to watch and to see those come out and everything like that. So okay, so this build, and we're gonna go back to the memory saber now. Okay, and talk about this for a little bit because it's going to have the low profile box one set up for the buttons as well, right? So if you see, oh, I don't want to scratch up too much stuff, but yeah, there we go, right there, right? And so the chassis itself is going to be where you see this line right where you see this right here. And of course we talked about it um last show, right? We worked on the button deals, right? Oh, thanks, Charlie. Let's see. Charlie, I've returned. Sorry about that. I'm still listening. Killing a back steakhouse. Well, no worries, Charlie, man. Hey, life goes on, bro. Life goes on, man. I understand. I understand. People got things to do, so do what you got to do, brother. Yeah, and I thank you and so much gratitude that you even come on the show and you're here listening, dude. So much gratitude. I can never repay you for that much gratitude. You know, I mean, it's just unbelievable, an unbelievable gift that you give to me being here and listening. So thank you, from the bottom of my heart, dude. Thank you. Um, so going back to this, right? And if you line it up, if you, let me see if I can turn it this way. So when you line it up, you're gonna have this in here, right? So the buttons are gonna go in here, and I'm gonna have to figure out. And I'm thinking, like Rich had told me, try to utilize some magnets for the button system setup. And I thought about it, and I said, that's not a bad idea. And I'm thinking maybe a spring system to go along with the magnets, right? So when I push down on the spring part of it, it locks the two magnets together, and we'll see how that's going to work out. So earlier today, before I even thought about it, and I didn't even think about it really because I wanted the buttons to adhere to the little holding board for it. And I cut a new one. By the way, I cut a new board. Let me see. Let me get this out of the way. Too much stuff up here. And I tell you, that's the reason why I'm so damn disorganized, and it's not cool. Not cool. But do I have it? Okay. No, say it so. Damn it. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to redo it. And earlier I had put some E6000 and binded or tried to bind the buttons, right? So let me get a little closer here. Come on. Um, so I got one of the buttons stuck on there, right? The other one was gonna come right about here. And it was there, and I guess unfortunately when it fell down on the ground, it kind of came off. So I guess what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna show you guys what my thought process is with just one of these things on here. And let me turn it this way. Doo, 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 doo. And it falls. Go figure. Well, because I have yet to E6000, when I get it just right, when I get the buttons situated and I get them wired, right? And I'm going to turn it like this again, and I'm not going to turn it too much so that y'all can see. But once I get the second buttons on there, and I'm going to second, and what I'm going to do is get the wires put on there. And once I put the wires on there, once I get the wires set up, that'll go all the way back to the board. Then what I will do is I will take this out and I will put some E6000 in there and put this out down in there and let it sit over 24 hours. So once I let it sit for 24 hours, it should adhere to where it's not going to come out, right? It shouldn't come out after that. So right now, let me go ahead and I'm going to uh, put that second button on here. I'm going to put some E6000 on there, and we're going to do that right now. So I thought I had it done, and I thought I was going to be able to put wires on there tonight during the show. But unfortunately, shit happens. Shit happens, and you just gotta roll with it, man. Now, in terms of the low, the low profile box as well from the custom saber shop, right? And the Roy Boy build had the LEDs under here. I don't think I'm going to go with the option of the LEDs down in here either. Well, not on this build, right? I'm thinking, um, I'm thinking I might just put and I've got some LEDs for the Crystal Focus 10, the board LEDs, right? And I was thinking of maybe just doing that because I'm going to have the simply because there's going to be the CC picks in here, and they're going to have LEDs, right? Then I'm going to have the crystal chamber that's going back here that's already got LEDs. So I don't want to put like too much. I mean, I want some blinkies, but not too much. You know what I mean? I want just enough. And you know, if we go back to the hardware store builds, depending on what if you're using the plumbing pipe, right? Now you can either use brass or you can use whatever else that they have in the plumbing department. And you can utilize some of those pipings to make chassis parts. You can utilize those for um, anything on the saber that you choose to use, right? Any kind of design process that you have in mind, you can utilize it. And like I was saying, some of those, I wish I could have a second phone that I had some pictures with on some of the plumbing um, parts, like for faucets that are excellent for crystal chambers. Excellent. And even some TV parts, right? Not I mean not TV parts themselves, but like uh you can utilize, let me see if I have one right here, and I probably do, and I probably don't. But um what do they call it? Okay. Well, for instance, you got the hose parts, right? So the hose parts that you can utilize, and you can run your 440 rods through here and make a crystal chamber like I've done a couple of times and do it that way, right? For a certain kind of look. Now, as well as, and let me see, do I have it there or do I not have it there? And see, and somebody what they did as well is they took a 440 rod and they glued all these 440 nuts, right, like this. And then they took it to a sander and they sanded, or the grinder, and they grinded it down to make the parts that they wanted to onto their build, right? And it's a genius idea because, like I said, I mean, you could do anything you want with certain things. You can make, you know, let's do this, right? Just let's say a small design wise type thing. And we're going to go and we're going to move some of these nuts down, and we're going to move some of them up. Now, take your grinder. Hey, Reese, what up, my friend? Welcome to the show. So you glue all of this together, right? And you grind it down to the size that you need. and the look that you're looking for, and you put it in. Let's say you build part of this, you get a couple of these together just the way it is, like this, and you have a crystal chamber with a whole different look than what other people are going for, right? You shave this down, you have all these little different areas right here, so you're not all in just one little thing. I mean, you make it and you make it look how you want it. I mean, it's your build. I mean, you don't have to copy somebody else. Now, other people, it depends, right? It depends. Some people may take advantage to it. Some people may like, oh, I'm honored that you utilize that because you're honoring me on using that kind of design. I love the fact that the sky's the limit with those things. I mean, in going to the hardware store, I mean, it's just the sky, and I'm gonna say it over and over and over again because really the sky is the limit, and it's your imagination will take you places that you never dreamed of. I mean, I've thought about all kinds of things on a hardware build, but my only problem is there's certain things that I don't have to achieve that, and eventually I will get there. So be patient with things as well, right? Patience is a big virtue in doing these lightsaber builds as well, because if you really want to achieve what you're going for, you know, patience is a big virtue of it as well. Now, not to say that you can't use any other tools to achieve that way. I mean, it just may take a little bit longer. For instance, if you don't have a sander, let's say you don't have an electric sander going, but maybe you do have like a handheld orbital sander, try to utilize that, right? You got to think outside the box. Um, let's say you don't have a saw. I mean, you have a handsaw. There's ways to utilize things in order to achieve what you're looking for. You don't need a whole lot of fancy stuff to get to the same result, um, especially when it comes to the hardware builds. Now, you may not get a whole lot of fancy crap in terms of your hardware builds, but then again, you might if you have certain tools to get you there, right? And for a good amount of people, if you have those tools, then you can utilize almost anything you want. I mean, let's say a lathe, for instance. Okay, I don't have a lathe, but Harbor Freight may have one for a couple of $100. Hey, Titan. So if you got a couple of $100 laying around and there's a tabletop lathe, you might be able to get away with doing some very small stuff. You might not be able to get like a whole big stuff, but it'll get you by with doing certain things like for crystal chambers and stuff like that. Um, even a bandsaw. If you got a bandsaw that can utilize for aluminum, then you can cut some parts and you can customize your own parts that way. If you don't, then maybe you need a handsaw. Go buy a cheap handsaw that has a blade for cutting aluminum. And there's another way. So, there's ways around things on utilizing hardware items to make a build. And like I said, if you're in the mood for a cheap one, go for like I did, you know, the PVC pipe build. Now, let me kind of got off the topic there, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put that second. I'm gonna put my old man eyes on. I'm gonna get my E6000, and I'm going to put that second button back on there so that I can get it set so that tomorrow when I get home from work, I can kind of, well, I sort of kind of measured out the wires already, right? So the way I'm kind of measuring certain things out with wiring is I'll just kind of set it right here off to the side, right? And then just kind of eyeball it, try to hold it in as straight as I can. And you want like they say in a lot of the videos, you want just a little bit extra so in case you screw up, you have room to breathe and do things. So about right there. So I'm gonna take where my fingers are. I'm gonna cut that. Now that should give me a good enough length for one of the buttons, right, to wire to. And okay. So now that I've got this length right here, I can see if I have other wires. Ooh, okay. Almost. Did I mess it up? Let me see. Hold on. That's what happens when you're old. My old ass. Let's see. And you'll hear Meg too do say the same thing sometimes. I gotta love Meg, man. Meg is so hilarious. Him, his shaking hands, and but he's been doing this way longer than I have. And I tell you, okay, so we got another length straight up right here. So that's two. All right, so I'm gonna take this one. This one's ready to go. Let's get this one here just in case. And now, one of these I may end up having to use for my negative because if I ran out of black 30 gauge wire, then see with buttons you can utilize the 30 gauge wires because you're not really running that much stuff to them. So, all right. Well, it looks like the green one's going to be a little short. So, let me see. Measure once, measure twice. Yeah. Measure twice, cut once. That is the old adage, right? All right. So the green is going to be a little short. And I know the black is going to be short because I just sense it. It's going to be really short. But let me see. I'm going to look for some more black and see if I have any more black that's a little bit longer and utilize that. But where, oh, where? My junk tray. Oh, almost. Oh, hold on here. Could I? Huh. This one's almost set up for it. Huh. Because I do have to adhere two of the buttons together. And then, oh, but see, that's going to interfere with that as well. Because, if I utilize this right here where I combined um, all of the line together, that's too big. That's not going to work too much. So stuff like this, you have to really kind of look out for. So what I plan to do is put one wire to um, both buttons and then run a second wire down from that so that they're combined into one wire, but in a way that it's not going to interfere with the buttons or the wiring whatsoever. So it won't be too bulky. You know what I mean? Now. Jeez. See, and everything that I do have, and I have I have a lot of cuts on stuff, but some of them are just way too short. So I'm gonna go ahead and just wait on that till later. I'm gonna go ahead and put these off to the side, and let's get that E6000 and that button set up. Now, I think for the battery section, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put these tabs in. So I'm probably gonna have to cut this tab right here, right? And and mind you, yeah, I know it. I mean, this is the memory saver build, but I mean, of course, we're still talking about um what gauge of wire you're using in the question. Yeah, so and then when you're looking at gauging wires, okay, let me put this up. When you're gauging wires, depending on what you're using, and most of the time for your power needs, okay, just for your power needs from the board to the power source, which is the battery, you always want to go, you mostly want to go with 22 gauge, okay? 22 gauge is more or less going to carry that load of amps and everything to everything. And then most of everything else can be utilized between 26 and 30 gauge, right? Smaller, smaller body of wire. So the things that take less power to them really don't need that kind of gauging to utilize everything, right? Buttons, since they takes up such a low capacity of energy, you really don't need a higher gauge in order to run power to it. So you just keep that in mind, right? That eventually you're going to end up with using anywhere between. You're going to start with 22 for your power needs, basically, and then it's going to go down to your 30 gauge. So you have. Let me see. I'm gonna grab a 22 gauge piece of wire real quick so you can kind of see the difference in it a little bit. Okay, get my beer out of the way. It's just calling my name every time. So I hope you can see the difference in this. And there's some great videos out there. And the eccentric artisan does a really good job of explaining, the gauges of wires and stuff too at the same time. There's a lot of videos that will gladly and happily enlighten you on the gauging of wires and the gauges. And also the custom saber shop, when you print out some manuals and stuff, all manuals, well, I don't know, I have to look at all the manuals, but the ones that I have from the custom saber shop, at the end of their manual they have a page that is dedicated to the gauging of the wires and stuff. So if you look here, this is the 22 gauge right here in my left hand. You're probably seeing it from your right, right? And then in my right hand, your left hand is the 30 gauge. And if you put them out together, you can see how thick the 22 gauge wire looks compared to the 30 gauge, right? So you can see the difference in that. Now let me show you that on here, on the strips that I have right here, this is a 26 gauge wire, right? But it looks fairly thick, but it's very pliable, right? So it's a step up, it's two steps up from the 30 gauge. It's a little bit stronger, a little bit thicker, but at the same time, it works for many applications on to your build. Depending on how much room you have in your build is what matters, right? Whether you can utilize the 26 gauge or you utilize the 22 gauge or you utilize the 30 gauge. Not every build is the same, so you're going to have to find out which one, how much room you actually have that you can work with each kind of gauge like that. All right, let me get here. And so I'm going to keep looking as I can onto the. I'm going to keep picking my head up so I can read whatever y'all is writing here while I'm doing this. So if I don't answer right away, my apologies right now. And I really do wish that that webcam that I have was working with my cell phone so that I could actually have the angle of me working on this so y'all could see actually what I was doing um, while I'm talking to you guys. So y'all could see my face and at the same time see my hands on exactly what I'm doing. And I mean, it's y'all can pretty much use your imagination because I'm just going to pick up the button like this and I'm going to put a dab of E6000 right under it, right? If it'll come out and kind of, dang it. You see, sometimes that's going to happen. You're going to have these things be a little ornery with you because they don't want to go. And that's just irky. Irky. Ah, damn it. You see that? Hey. See, and that's the kind of things you'll have to deal with sometimes. And things don't always work out so smooth that you're going to have challenges. You're going to have challenges. Just roll with it. Don't worry. Be happy. That's my philosophy. Okay. Oh, and I went this way. I want it that way. I can't sing for shit. So if I sing really bad, guys, tell me to shut the hell up. Mundo, don't sing. You're gonna burn our ears. You're burning our ears, Mundo. And let me see. Tap, tap, tap. Oh, you're welcome, NN. Anytime, dude. Like I said, you can always email me if you have questions too, man. you know, if I can answer you at the time, I'll answer you if I can. And if it takes a little time, just be patient with me because I might be at work, and unless it's on a weekend. And if it's on a weekend, I might be working on my ranch and might not have the phone with me right away, but I will get back to you. Okay. And that goes for everybody watching tonight too. If you got questions and you email me, um, I'll get back to you if I see those emails. I'm not gonna ignore you guys, because I want to have a relationship within this community to have feedback on you guys and be understanding that if you have questions, I will try to help you to the best of my ability since I'm still learning a lot of things myself, right? And you know, my goal, like I said, is to get a portfolio going and showcase my work. And I tell you, Jeremy from Solos, he really, really puts the high mark on his videos because he does an excellent job. And again, I'm going to mention Jeremy from Solos, and even Benji and all those guys. Man, they're such artists in their work, and they show you exactly what they're doing. But Jeremy, he'll show you all of his wiring and everything is so clean and so awesome that one of these days, I mean, and even space has such great wiring skills that my wiring skills right now are nothing compared to theirs. And I hope one day that I will be in their shoes, just being able to wire that clean and that great. And it's going to take time, it's going to take time for me to get and do that well, to do that great, and to build the trust in the people that see what I'm doing. And for me, having not only having the talk show, but people seeing what I'm doing at the same time. So if you see me screw up, I don't edit that shit. I'm not going to edit my screw ups because the way I believe, you can't edit life. So you're coming along on the journey, and if I screw up, you're seeing my screw ups. How I fix it, you're going to see how I fix it. How it's going to be is how it's going to be. And whether the paint scheme is off and all this, you know, here's the thing. And I've seen some people, I'm not ranting on anybody or anyone like that because to each their own. But I've seen a lot of videos where people are saying this and that about somebody else's build. Well, it's not your build. If it is your build, then yeah, you have a right to talk shit about it, but it's not your build. And if it's not your build, why are you even worrying about it? You know? You wouldn't do it that way. Of course. It's, you know, you don't do it that way. And more power to you. And that's good because it's your way, right? And if somebody else does it a different way, how if they achieve the same ending, the saber works, it looks great, right? But it continues to work. Now, it depends on the craftsmanship. That's what lies between a great build, a good build, and a shitty build, right? So you want to make sure that you like, when I do my builds, I'm doing my builds as I'm doing it for somebody else and not myself because I want to learn those great skills from these great people that have been in the building these things a lot more than I have. I've learned a lot from Anthony. I've learned a lot from Jeremy. I've learned a lot, from Benji. I've learned a lot from um, Megtooth, Tom. I've learned a lot from Mad Cow, Tom, Rob Pitcow. I've learned a lot of stuff from people who have participated in putting things out for TCSS. Um, and other tutorials. And I commend people who put tutorials out there for people like me who are visual people because I'm dyslexic. I have a hard time reading stuff, but I'm not saying that I can't read because I can read. I just get a little lost sometimes and I've gotten better at it and things like that. However, people learn different ways. People can learn from the manual, people can learn from the videos, people can learn on a combination of things. Make sure you do your due diligence and do everything that you can and before you go and ask somebody because they get a lot of the same questions. A lot of the times, a lot of questions that they get is the same question over and over and over again from new people. And they understand that these are new people that are coming in and asking these questions. So my high recommendation is that if you're coming into the hobby, okay, if you're coming into the hobby and depending on the board that you're going to use, first of all, before you get the board, download the manual. Even if you don't get that board at that time, download the manual and read it and learn through it so that that way, when you do get your board, you're somewhat familiar with certain aspects of that board, right? Another resource is to go ahead and you can do this too, even with hardware builds, because hardware builds, if you're wanting to utilize sound, you're still going to use that certain soundboard. So you need to be familiar with that soundboard before you start wiring up your hardware stuff, and whether it'll fit, whether it may not fit as well. So if you get all of these resources and you get a general idea of what you're going to do, you can answer a lot of your own questions before you start really working on things. And once you get to the point where you have tried everything that it says in the manual, you've gone through videos after videos, and you still can't find the answer, and then you go to forums and you look at somebody who has the same problem, excuse me, who has the same problem, and you get an answer from the form, then there you go. You have utilized that form to answer your own question. Now, if all else fails and you can't find an answer, then by all means, go to one of these veteran installers and they can pretty much give you an answer. I mean, since they've been doing it for so long, they know the ins and outs of these things and they can direct you on exactly what might be wrong, whether it be maybe an ampage problem, maybe be a wire problem. There's just all things that can go wrong with the build. And no matter how you utilize things, it depends on you how you utilize the information to get that build done, right? Now you may not be able to get it done right away. It took me a long time to get the Roy Boy memory build for done the way it should have been done. But that's because I did not utilize every resource that I could. I did not um, adhere to certain things. I wanted to run before I walked, and I paid the consequence for it. So don't do what I do. I'm not a professional. That's Jeremy, Benji, and all these guys, man. All right, so let's take a little break from the build on, I mean, the hardware stuff, and there we go. So I'm hoping that I won't drop this damn thing because I'm like, now my shaky hands are like, and I do not want to get it. Okay, so I'm not going to set it in just yet because I'm going to put wires on there. And I think next show I'll kind of go, I'll get my wiring how I want it before I put the wires on. On the next show, I'll put the wires on and run the wires and we'll go with that. But for right now, here we go. So that's how it's looking so far right here. And then I'm going to run a single black line to connect two of these. And then I'm going to have either a yellow and black, or I mean, a yellow and blue, or a yellow and green for the buttons color scheme and run those down that way. So, but for right now, wow, I can't believe an hour went by that fast already. Jesus. Okay, so for right now, we've accomplished this, right? There we go. We've accomplished that. A new board was cut from the other one. I decided to go ahead and cut this one and utilize this one, which is a much cleaner one, and it doesn't have the jagged edge that the other one does. So I'm going to set it aside right here so that the E6000 will go ahead and adhere to it, since you have to utilize two 24 hours so that it'll set in. And I want to go ahead and see about setting in the battery stuff. So, all right, I'm going to utilize that, but since I need to cut this piece right here so it'll go in there nice and even, and it'll go down since that's blocking that. Okay. And I did cut the coil a little bit earlier today because the coil was about up to here. And I really didn't like that. So I cut the coil just a little bit for to get the tension out of that. Let me see. And I'm gonna put that one there. Put that one there. Right. So you're gonna be able to see that one there. And then let's take. Uh, okay. So it's going to be a little tight. Wow. Okay. I might have to cut it down just a little bit more to get it in there. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like I'm gonna have to take probably about another, uh, probably about another small little coil in here, and then see how that's gonna work out. So with that though, I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna call it a night, guys. I'm getting a little tired here. I work in the morning, and we will pick this back up. Titan says, any thought? Let's see. Oop, sorry, buddy. Oh, Three Edge. Hey, he made it. Okay. I'll stick around for a little while, Three Edge. No worries, dude. Thank you, sir. So, any thoughts on the new Chimere Saber from Acolyte? I think Vader Sabers has it. Yeah, Vader Sabers does have it, and I tell you, John, the from Collector's Outpost, he um he showcased it, and he did a very awesome job on reviewing it, man. Oh, just I mean, his videos are always so freaking cool, dude. Hey, Three Edge, I am so happy you made it, man. I missed you, dude. Yeah, it's been an awesome day today, man. It's been a cool day. Um, I haven't worked much on the Saber stuff, but I'm kind of getting to it a little bit because I've been so busy at work. And I don't know, Three Edge, if you've been around for the last if you've listened to some of the past shows, I actually completed the Roy Boy, which is my best friend's memory build, and it's just working like a charm, dude. I just right now I have to get a new blade and get the blades working and stuff. Go back and look at I think the last three or four shows, man. I put it out there, and uh, every show I've actually ended the show with it. Right now, I just don't want to mess with it right now, so I'm not gonna grab it and turn it on. But tonight's show was all about hardware builds, and I was talking about this PVC pipe lightsaber build right here. Now, I don't have anything in it right now, but I plan on putting a NeoPixel into it. My next step for this though is to get some clear sealer and seal the paint so that I don't get any more paint rubbing off on my fingers and stuff. Um, I do have a in here. I'll show you here. Let me take the blade out. It's got some really good blade depth, but once I put in the Neopix in there, it won't have such good blade depth. I think it may take away from the blade depth just slightly. I'm not sure yet how that work, but it'll change once I do get the Neopix in there and then a chassis to fit this thing. Because right now, no ordinary chassis is just going to fit in there. It's just too small a diameter on the inside. The only chassis that I see that actually has worked in here and it's still kind of a tight squeeze is the chassis for the F-16 build that I got from Smugglers, and Albert just nailed a badass chassis for that hilt. And in the future, I'm going to take you guys with me on fixing that hilt up and getting it running and going too as well. But yeah, dude, if you look in here and you see that black thing down in there, that's the speaker holder right there. That speaker holder is sitting right in here. And this part of the hilt, oops, sorry, this part of the hilt that hits right here is keeping it in place right here. So um I mean, it was a quick build for something that I needed, something static, and just build it like really quick. Did a quick paint job out of it and drilled a hole and got it going so that I could just stick a blade in there, and if I needed to, I could stick um, an LED that maybe I could run. You know that I could run an LED that had a remote control with it into the blade like this and just utilize the LEDs in here with the remote and just kind of make something really quick come out of nothing, right? Like that show, make something out of nothing, Smuggler's Room. Yeah. So if you haven't seen Smuggler's Room on YouTube, I highly recommend watching that guy because he makes all kinds of stuff Star Wars, and he utilizes a lot of stuff from the hardware store to make certain things. He and his wife they actually made hilts out of hardware parts, and it was kind of funny because the way they had it made, they were having like a little competition going, and it's a pretty cool. He does an awesome job on his channel, and the things that he makes is just freaking awesome as well, right? I'm working on setting little bits of money aside, get myself one of the TriStar blades for my birthday. So, oh, 3 Edge, dude, that is freaking awesome, man. I am so glad to hear that. I tell you what, it's gonna be well worth it, man. And now that Anthony's got Reese working on those things, and you know, uh, let me tell you, if you haven't watched, recent videos on Anthony's channel and the shorts and everything, Reese is his apprentice, and he is doing such an awesome, wonderful job at making these blades. And uh, his videos, he's gonna get nothing but better and better each time he does a video. So keep an eye out for Reese, and make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't on Reese's stuff, because once Reese really gets going, he's gonna super shine. I tell you, uh, he's gonna super shine. Oops, almost lost almost lost the tripod with the webcam there because I moved too far over. Um, but anyhow, yeah, keep an eye out for Reese, man, because Reese is really gonna get busy and make everything worthwhile for Anthony's blades. Anthony is just showing everything that he does, the way he does it, and Reese is really taking to heart with everything that he does. So it's gonna be nothing but awesome when you get those blades, dude. And I believe in Reese wholeheartedly, so it's gonna be good. It's gonna be damn good. So, how have you been, Three Edge? Um, I know you've been pretty busy, right? You've probably been pretty busy. Um, and God, I was like, man, Three Edge hadn't been here in a while. He must be really, really busy at work and really busy with doing things. So I'm all like, when I saw you here, like, what? No, I'm stopping in my tracks. Yeah, love it, love it. So when is your birthday? Your birthday's coming up real soon, huh? Oh, dude, I don't know. Hey, and 3H, I don't know if you've seen the Collector's Outpost video, but he did a comparison between the quantum blades, the and other blades and the Quad Star blades, and I tell you, the Quad Star beat the shit out of all of them, dude. I'm all like, yeah. I mean, yeah, I bet. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear you lost a friend, dude. Prayers and condolences, dude. That is a lot to deal with. I'm right there with you, man. So, I mean, you've been on here and you know, you've heard that what I've gone through. So, yeah, I can certainly October 17th, huh? That's cool, man. That is awesome. I need to me. You know what? Let me find something to write down with this. I want to write down your birthday. And like I said, I'm always freaking disorganized. And Oh, Reese, you're welcome, dude. There's a lot coming to the channel soon. I know. I'm hoping, man. You know, as I was explaining earlier today, um, about my webcam, man. I try to put the webcam on the phone and do the show that way. But it didn't work, and I tried to do it with both my phone and the laptop, and it really didn't work that much, right? Three and hopefully, if it falls on a Sunday, man. If not, I'm gonna give you a shout out, on Sunday for your birthday, dude. So, and I'm gonna make sure that we put that in. Let's see. We're all eating different sides of the same shit sandwich. Put the mirror to myself and blame myself if I don't make the most of my day. Oh yeah, dude. Here's the thing, and then man, you can never blame yourself for anything that happens unless you actually did it yourself, right? You can't tell your friend this and that, and you can't blame yourself for other people's things. Okay, it is. It's a cruel world, and it can be hard, dude. It can be very hard, and you got to take it one day at a time, right? You take it one day at a time, and you reflect on the good times. You reflect on the great things that you've done together. You do not let the memory of your friend be soiled with the bad stuff that has happened. No matter how painful it can be. Like my friend who passed away from brain cancer, I was there. I mean, I was there. I saw him the day before he passed. I mean, I was with him just hours before he passed. And you can blame yourself all you want in the world. And you know, in the at the end of the day, okay, at the end of the day, it's not your fault. When we're called home, we're called home. There's nothing you can do about it. And if you take into account samurai, the samurai people, they look forward to death because death never scared them, just simply because that they wanted to die a good way, right? But at the same time, they didn't want to dishonor themselves. So the best way to honor your friend's memory is to not get down into that hell in your brain and say it's your fault, it's my fault, this and that. You want to get out of that, and you want to say, you know what? I remember me and my friend doing this, and we busted cracking up, laughing so hard. Those were the good old days. That's how you want to end, the day. That's how you want to elevate your friend's memory to that, right? Yes, there. Don't get me wrong. Yes, you need to mention and adhere to what happened to him, but at the same time, elevate his memory. Don't just bring it down because of what happened, right? Because then the sorrow and everything comes, and it's not a good place to be, dude. Not a good place to be. So, um, you know, light up a saber in honor of him when you get that quad star or that tri-star, and you know I hope that one day you'll be able to show us on a video. Hey, Mundo, Anthony, everybody, look, I am lighting up my sword, my build in honor of my buddy, right? I did. No reason why you can't, man. And if you want to come on the show, let me know. I will send you the link, You can come on the show and we'll put that build. We will put your saber on the show and have you light it up in honor of your friend, dude. Right? Because that's what we're here. We're here to talk sabers. We're here to talk all aspects of sabers, all aspects of life. I mean, Mundo's bar is open. Grab your beer, grab your seat, and let's talk some shit of sabers, friends, and everything else. Right? Yeah, you can post it on TikTok, dude. That's cool. That's cool, man. You know, all good. Now, let me ask you, and then have you, and Three Edge and everybody here. I mean, everybody wants a custom saber, and everybody wants to make a custom saber. But if you have not tried to make a hardware store build, you got 30 or 40 bucks laying around. Start with that. Start with the design. Work on that. Do that. And I even have, and I tried, and I know it didn't work out because I was trying to make a chassis for that build too, and these are too big to fit in there because I was going to make the whole chassis to go up in there. And like, crap. Okay, so I got to think of something different, and I can get one printed out. I'll get one printed out, make it fit, and all this and all that good stuff. So there's ways around things. You got to just work at it. And a cheap build like that, man, it gets you really going. Hang on, I gotta grab me another beer. I love these Yetis that you can. They're big enough where you can put a little bit of ice in there. Damn, hold on. I put the ice on top of the beer, and now I gotta get the beer out, and this ice is not letting me grab it, and I'm gonna lose ice all over the place. Oh well, screw it. Okay, now that we got it. All right. Hey, how about that? I only lost one piece of ice. Not bad. Yeah, man, not a problem at all. Gotta love Yoda, right? Drink or no drink. There is no try. And I do drink. Ah, man. Okay. So where were we? Okay. Uh, hardware store builds. Now, if like I said, challenge yourself and see what you can find in the hardware store. I challenge some people, and this is for the newbies too. The newbies that are coming in, and if start with the design from the hardware store and build your design with the intention of either putting sound or not putting sound into it. And if you make one that has no sound, just static, and it's a shelf queen, then you have made your first one. Bravo, kudos to you, because that's the first step that you can do, right? Now, if you decide to make one that you're going to put sound into it, now you can make one that is static and then later on put sound into it. But keep that in mind that once you're making it and you're going to put sound in it later, make sure you leave enough room on the inside on what you're going to utilize for that, right? That way later on you can go and you can either get a 3D printed chassis, you can get parts from the custom saber shop and make your own chassis and go with that, right? Just get a list of your parts and everything like that and go from there. You can get away with the cheap, like I said, $150 NeoPixel sword, the lightsaber, right? All right, so three sword. Thank you, dude. And everybody who has been in here, Reese. Rock on, dude. Keep the good work up, man. And everybody who's gonna watch this later, and like and subscribe, comment down. I'm gonna, if I can, if you made any comments, uh, I apologize if I haven't got back to you because I'm not. I don't see the comments sometimes. And if the comments are not showing up, or I can talk to you guys and acknowledge you guys, I want to certainly apologize for that. I'm going to try to get that remedied to where I can go back into the chat and um, acknowledge you guys for the show. Simply because I feel that um, I don't want you guys to feel that I'm not acknowledging what y'all are asking or saying, only to the ones that are in the show. And um, that's just not me. I would love to, for anyone who comes and sees the show and they make a comment, I want to go ahead and acknowledge that comment. Just That's just who I am. And like I said, I'm not trying to make excuses or anything, but if I don't see any comments down there and it's not let me acknowledge you guys, how can I acknowledge you guys if it's not letting me see what was seen during the show, at that time, so that I could go back and acknowledge you. Um, so again, guys, for those who really do have some questions for me and you want to talk to me, on a one-to-one basis, you can actually email me at underscore my last name, Cabrera, CABRERAIII at yahoo.com. Okay. And if you go to the Instagram, it's at Mundo Cabrera 7007. Okay. You can watch the show there as well on the Mundo channel. And so what you see here is what you're going to see on the Mundo channel. And hopefully I can do a few different things with the Mundo channel. And I keep mentioning it, but I keep forgetting to do certain things simply because of how busy I get at work and then with the family as well. And with two kids in college, one getting ready to go to college, I'm a little busy up until then. So again, I do apologize if I don't get back to you, but if you email me, I can try to get back to you as soon as possible and answer any questions that you might have or any discussions that you might want to go through. Um, I am not anywhere close to being able to do any commissions. I do not want to do any commissions for anybody. Um, at you know what I do want to offer eventually when I do make my portfolio is I will do some builds and then I will put them up for sale. When I feel that my skills as a installer are up to par, and have decent skills that are beyond certain companies that really don't do a great job, and I will have certain people to back me up on my skills when I feel that I want to move forward with selling some stuff. And I will have a panel of people judging me on my builds and get their approval. Veterans, I will get some veterans approvals within the community. If they approve that I can do a decent job of doing installs, then I will do installs and I will have them up for sale when I decide that I am good enough to do that. Okay. And until then, I'm still gonna be Mundo sitting here, Saber Talk Sunday. And like I said, if you guys like and subscribe, help the channel out. They want to get monetized. Anthony wants to get monetized for Civilized Sabers, and I think Reese and Anthony and Gabe, will make a great trio of people to accomplish that. So um, make sure you like and subscribe and all of that good stuff. Force smash that like button, like Anthony says, so that they can get there. You know, and if you guys enjoy coming on here and talking with me, like I said, I want to be where we're across the table drinking a beer, talking about lightsabers. If you guys want to come on the show, hit me up. I'll send you a link on coming onto the show. If you guys decide that you have some topics, and I may not be familiar with all topics. Really, at you know I'm not really good at a lot of boards and everything, but I can tell you that I can try and do the best I can to give you some of the answers that I know. And if I don't know, I will find out one way or another. Okay, guys. So at that point, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna brand out. I love you guys. I love all you guys and girls who are gonna come and watch this later or is listening at work. And I hope you guys have a great, you guys and ladies. I hope you all have a great
In
week.
here,
Mundo out.
people
Peace.
are whispering.